This game makes you feel like Batman, a clumsy, slightly dizzy Batman, but still Batman. Released in 2024, not developed by Rocksteady, which after Suicide Squad is probably a good thing. It's the latest Arkham game set just after Origins, but this time it's in VR. So the big question, is this a true Arkham game or a VR gimmick? You play as Batman, who with the help of Jim Gordon and Harvey Dent are trying to stop a mysterious cult leader known as the Rat King. The King is planning to attack Gotham in 7 days in what he calls the Day of Wrath. The only clue to the King's identity lies within Blackgate Prison. It's up to Batman to go undercover and find out the Rat King's identity before it's too late. I want to say off the bat this is basically my first VR game. I didn't really know what to expect going into it. I adore the Arkham series since the first one came out. I was thinking this will be a game where you just have to stand there, look around and throw a few batarangs like the last Batman VR game. You know, more of an experience than a game. I'm very happy to say this felt like an Arkham game through and through, but it's VR. You're probably thinking, well yeah, but like it really impressed me that if you can do it in the Arkham games, you can do it here. Batman has all his staple moves and gadgets from the series like gliding, detective vision, batarangs, grapples, batclaw and explosive gel. The only staple that's missing is the line launcher. They all work the same. I thought there was going to be limitations because it's VR, but it's really not. Let's start with the basics before I get too far ahead of myself. Batman controls how he normally does, so it's easy for me to get used to. There still isn't a jump button, you have to sprint off edges to get across gaps. There are just a few tweaks or adjustments because it's VR. In the main game, if you grapple to a ledge, Batman will pull himself up. Here you have to grab the ledge with your hands and pull yourself up. It's neat. He can also grab onto pipes and climb up them like he's Sam Fisher, or use them like monkey bars. For gliding, you have to hold your arms to your side, grab hold, and lift them and hold them out like you're actually gliding. It's a lot of how you would do this if you were actually Batman, which is what's cool about it. With a controller you have to press a button. You want to use detective mode, press left trigger. Here you have to move your right hand to your temple and press the finger button. Want to use your gadgets, you have to grab them off your belt. It's incredibly immersive. I know that's the point of VR, but I wasn't expecting it to work this well. The Arkham games are split into 3 main gameplay sections: Exploration, Predator and Combat. Shadow nails each of these. Let's start with the Exploration. This isn't an open world game like City or Origins, it's closer to Asylum in scope. The game is split into 2 maps, Gotham and Blackgate. These are both small areas compared to the later games. They will be linear your first time through, but you can go back to areas to search for collectibles. Riddler is unfortunately not in this game, so you don't have to find his trophies or solve riddles. They were replaced with Rat King's broadcasts and statues, which are the same thing. You normally have to solve a puzzle to get to these. Some require specific gadgets, some require a bit of logic. None are too difficult, I'm glad they're here. It's a shame that you don't get anything for collecting them all. The other collectibles are rat bombs, which are the same as Joker's teeth from Asylum, but they blow up. Audio logs, which are great, I'll talk more about in the story section. Lastly are the memories. In certain spots you can find orbs that trigger lines from Origins or Blackgate to play. Then Batman will chat to Alfred about them. They mostly remind me I still need to play Blackgate. I thought it was a 3DS exclusive, but apparently not. You can find maps in each of the areas showing you where the collectibles are. There are not a lot of collectibles. After I beat the game, it only took an hour or 2 to go back and get them all. Which brings us to the Predator sections. These felt sick to play in VR. It works exactly how it does in the other games. You can swing between vantage points to see the enemies and plan how to take them out. You can throw a smoke bomb if you get caught to break the line of sight. Most of the takedowns from the other games are here. The classic takedown is fun to do. You have to sneak up behind an enemy, stick your hands out, grab them, pull them towards you, then swing your arms left to right like you were choking them out. You can even do that takedown where Batman hangs from a gargoyle, picks up the enemy and throws them off, but you're the one actually doing it. The Predator sections get more complicated as the game goes on. The enemies will start to use different gadgets to make things harder for you, like wearing heartbeat monitors so they know when you've took someone out, or thermal goggles so they can see you on vantage points. This is great as it keeps the sections from getting stale. My only issue is they don't introduce vantage points that blow up if you stay on them for too long. I always like those. They also don't add anything that hasn't been done before, which is a bit of a letdown. You also don't have as many gadgets as the other games, which limits what you can do. I get this one though. It would become too complicated to swap the different gadgets if Batman had loads. This can also be felt in the combat. The combat is the most impressive part of this game for me. It's amazing how well it translates into VR. You have to close your fist to hit enemies. You look who you want to hit and punch in their direction. Once you land a punch, yellow circles will appear on them showing you where to punch. If a yellow arrow appears, you need to swing in that direction. This alone is fun. You have to physically do a left-right-left combo, followed by an uppercut. The other enemies will obviously try to stop you. This is where countering comes in. A blue lightning indicator will appear. You have to quickly punch towards that indicator in order to counter. This indicator can come from enemies outside your vision. so if you punch the indicator you will still counter them even though you're not looking. You'll have to counter 2 enemies on your left and right without looking, and it's super satisfying to land a double counter when this happens. Through this indicator system, the game will have you perform a lot of iconic animations from the other games, like the animation where Batman breaks the enemy's arm. You actually do that by punching his arm. Or you can even jump on enemies when they are down to knock them out. Once I unlocked the Batclaw, I thought to myself, I wonder if I can use this in combat, and you can. There's no tutorial for this. If you think you can do something from the other games, you more than likely can. The goal is obviously not to get hit and keep your combo going. Reach a certain combo number and you can perform specials. Once the special is activated, depending on what you do, different things can happen. You can take out a single enemy instantly by hitting them. If you punch the floor, a swarm of bats will appear to stun your enemies. Or you can use a gadget to take out an enemy. Speaking of gadgets, it's so awesome to be in the middle of a combo, then quickly move your hand to your chest to grab a batarang and throw it by letting go. Like that would be a simple button press in the other games, here it really makes you feel badass. Even though it took me a while to get to that stage. At the start of the game I felt like Batman if he had too much to drink. I had to get used to how VR worked and where the gadgets were. A lot of the enemy types are also here. The stun, baton and shield guys, knife guys and the ones that have armour. You get a tutorial when you first encounter them, which I really didn't need. As soon as I saw the armour guy I was like, cape stun into a beatdown. And sure enough that's how it works. The combat is very intuitive if you have played the other games. It just works how you think it should. When I figured out I should actually move my body to turn to face the enemy instead of just using the right stick, I truly felt like Batman, even though I was sweating way too much. Shadow feels like just another Arkham game, which is incredibly high praise considering I thought this was going to feel more like a gimmick. My only real complaint for the gameplay is it doesn't do anything new. It just takes the Arkham gameplay and put it in VR, which is what I'm assuming was all they were trying to do. Hopefully if they make a sequel they can try to put in new enemy types or gadgets. Where the game becomes a must play for Arkham fans is with the story. It's fantastic. They did not have to go this hard for a VR exclusive entry. The central mystery of who is the Rat King is intriguing from start to finish. Lots of red herrings. At one point one character says, "I'm with a pack rat," which convinced me they were the king. Each day starting with a countdown to the Day of Wrath was an inspired choice. Shadow has a strong focus on his cast of characters. The most interesting character has to be Harvey Dent. In the other Arkham games he isn't much more than another one of Batman's rogues gallery. Here they really take the time to flesh him out. There are plenty of flashbacks to his and Bruce's past in the orphanage. You really get how he and Bruce became the men they are in the present. It's all quite tragic. I'll go into this more in the spoiler section, but I'm assuming if you're watching this, you know what Harvey becomes. It's a nice change to the Arkham series to not play as Batman for large portions. As Batman is undercover, he will pretend to be a prisoner called Matches. As Matches, you won't have all your gadgets and will have to talk to the other inmates to find clues. I found these parts fun. I enjoyed seeing and chatting to other inmates who are established Batman characters. Falcone is here and secretly runs the prison. You see the ventriloquist and how he got his puppet. Scarecrow and Harley Quinn are both doctors at Blackgate. It's very interesting to see them play an important part to the story. It actually makes sense why all these characters are in the story. They're not just here as a pointless cameo. My favourite part was recognising some enemies from Origins are inmates here in Blackgate, like Bane's right-hand man or the rich guy from the Cold Cold Heart DLC. Like yeah, realistically they would be here, wouldn't they? Even Officer Boyles is here from Asylum. I really respect the developers took the time to make sure this would fit into the Arkham timeline without too many inconsistencies. The Asylum isn't open yet, but you can find lots of Easter eggs hinting that it's going to be open soon. The Tiger Guards from City are the guards in Blackgate, which sets them up earlier. Hugo Strange has recently left Blackgate, which means he has more than likely gone to find Ra's al Ghul. Characters will mention the riot that happened at the end of Origins. Shadow even tries to fix some continuity errors. For example, you can find audio log of Joker and Harley Quinn's interviews. Joker acts like it's the first time they have met each other. Harley says, "Oh, this again." This is a great detail. In Asylum you can find a tape of their first meeting, but we find out in Origins they've already met. This tape here fixes that issue. Joker pretends like he's meeting her for the first time more than once. These are details they really didn't have to have, but I'm glad they did. I have to give a shout out to the voice acting. Roger Craig Smith gives us a great Batman. He even changes his voice a lot to play Matches. I actually thought they gave him a different actor. I'm completely fine if he wants to take over as Kevin Conroy's replacement for the series, rest in peace. Troy Baker is as great as he always is. He really adds a lot to Harvey's character through his performance. The surprising standout was Elijah Wood as Jonathan Crane. He did a really good job at acting superior and creepy. It's time for spoilers. I'm not going to go beat by beat, just parts I want to talk about. Go to this time code to skip. I gotta talk about Two-Face. We knew Harvey was going to turn into Two-Face. I love how the game plays with our expectations. During the flashbacks we see that Harvey had an abusive upbringing. His father kind of had a split personality. Sometimes he was nice to Harvey, other times he would beat him. I watched these flashbacks and thought, oh, this is why he's Two-Face, it must run in the family. Then the game will talk about Carl Jung's shadow self, which is a person's hidden self, like Two-Face. Then the courtroom scene happens where Bruce Wayne accidentally pushes the chemicals onto Harvey, turning him into Two-Face. Side note, how did everyone not blame Jonathan Crane for this? He bought the dangerous chemicals. He even takes a hit from them in front of the judge. I like how it's Batman's fault Harvey turns into Two-Face. It's a change from the norm. Batman normally can't stop it from happening, here you could argue it's his fault. I like it. At the end of the game we find out Harvey is the Rat King, but this would mean he was the Rat King well before the courtroom. This is what all the split personality hints are actually hinting at, not Two-Face. I didn't see this coming because I thought they aren't going to have Harvey be two different villains. I should have guessed it when I recognised Troy Baker as the Rat King, but he also does a lot of other characters in the series to be fair. I think it's up to interpretation, but I don't think Harvey becomes Two-Face till the very last scene of the game. I honestly thought the Rat King was going to be Joe. He helps out Matches a lot in Blackgate. He knows everything that's going on and has secret passages around the prison. He is the one that says he is a pack rat. Turns out he's actually Joe Chill, the man that killed the Waynes. This is revealed to Batman at the end of the game by Harvey. He made a promise to Bruce that he would find his parents' killer and make them pay. He tells this to Batman whilst he's pointing a gun at Joe. It's a pretty sick reveal. This is where Batman says this is not what Bruce wants and takes off his mask. This breaks Harvey's brain. His best friend has been hiding this from him for years. Batman then takes Harvey down. A few days later we find out Matches gets blamed as the Rat King. Batman must have done this to protect Harvey because that's still his mate. We find out Harvey is suffering from memory loss, which is why he doesn't remember Bruce as Batman. Not a huge fan of this. The exact same thing happened to Bane in Origins, it's just a repeat. It's explained to Harvey about his condition, he holds Bruce's hand and he begins to smile. I think this is the exact moment Two-Face is born. You might be thinking, how did Harvey know who Joe was? This is the cherry on the cake. In the audio logs, Jonathan Crane, aka Scarecrow, has been experimented on the inmates. The ventriloquist, Joe and Harvey. This is how he found out their secrets and why they become villains, except Joe. You can listen to Scarecrow finds out Joe killed the Waynes and he must have told Harvey. Scarecrow does this because he enjoys experimenting on people. He is the reason Harvey gets as bad as he does. He even has an earlier version of his fear toxin which he uses on them. It's a really fun part where he uses it on Batman. I really like this. He is the main villain in Night. Having him be such an important part of the story so early in the timeline helps justify him being the main villain after Joker. It really rounds out the story. Ultimately I had a backtastic time of Arkham Shadow. It really blew me away how well the Arkham gameplay plays in VR. The story was great from start to finish. My only issues were the lack of new ideas and the gadget limitations. Do I think it's worth getting a VR headset for? No. But if you already have one, you should absolutely get it. Time to rank it. I'm thinking if this wasn't in VR and just a regular Arkham game, would I rate it this highly? I think I would, but I don't think I would put it above the 4 main Arkham entries. Gameplay wise, it's a stripped back Origins. I'm thinking number 5. I enjoyed the story and gameplay more than Gears of War, but I'm a huge Arkham fan, so it could be a bit of bias there. But I don't think I could put it above Eternal Darkness. The uniqueness of that game is incredibly hard to beat for me. So new number 5. Tune into the same Bat channel for more VR or Arkham content, hopefully.